Anybody else?
Mm,
A spicy coat.
A
Yes,
spicy coat?
spicy.
Okay. A spicy coat.
All right.
Someone else? Give me another one.
Jack up. Jack up.
Jack up. You call a jacket that goes up in blaze a blazer.
I'm mad that I didn't get.
Ah, oh, that's a good one, yeah. A blazer, yeah. All right, cool.
Okay, let me
got
give you
that one.
another
All
one. Let me
right.
give you another one before we move on. What did the flame say to his buddies after he fell in love?
Repeat that again, please.
I'm on
What
cloud
did
nine.
What did the flame say to his buddies after he fell in love?
Did you say the flame or the plane?
Flame. We talking
Flame.
about fire?
Oh, the flame.
Fired up
Oh,
and ready to go. So we talking about fire and flame.
okay.
You got the answer, DTL?
I'm a hunk of burning love. I don't know.
Fired up. I'm fired up.
The flame said, I found the perfect match.
I was just going to answer it, Madam President.
You did?
All right. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
You can still give us the
I'm
answer.
telling the truth. I will not lie.
Yeah.
I will not
Answer
tell
the
a lie
next
on this
one.
good Tuesday evening. I Google it. That's how I got it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
see, they know the Google don't count now. Google don't count.
Yeah, Google.
DTM
Google.
Thompson, you know, I have to look for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I have to look for it when it comes up.
On the right
All
mark.
right, so it's time for us to move into our prepared speaker segment for tonight. And we have 3 prepared speakers. So first of all, our first speaker, she will be she's on the path. Her path is innovative planning, level 3, increasing knowledge. The objective, persuasive speaking, focused on the positive. And her topic tonight, change your thinking and you will change your life. She has 5 to 7 minutes. Change your thinking and you will change your life. Let's welcome TM Jalita Lewis.
Are you having a mind battle? You're thinking, and you can change your life. Let us focus on the positive and do away with the negative. Good evening, Madam President, Genevieve Bullard, our executive team, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. One of the most important things that we can do as human beings is to spend time with God. Because if you have a mind battle, He can rectify that. He can repair our broken hearts and minds. He is good like that. Whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, just, pure, lovely, whatever things are of good report on these things. They encounter many things, but will be and be very serious about life. Practice gratification. Spend time with positive people. Start your day every day on a positive road. That I am becoming the best version of myself. I believe in me. I put myself on. And I am sure you are too. We are here for a reason and not by accident. You and I are here to make a difference in this world. And we are not here by accident. So don't let people tell you that you don't matter. The universe must have chosen us to be here. And here we are, cheering ourselves on. I often tell myself, go girl, you got this. You can do it. Yes, you can. I encourage myself to be strong and courageous, to be self-motivated, and believe whatever I pursue. I can do all things because the greater one lives inside of me. And what I see in others exists also in me. I believe in me. And I believe that I have some cheerleaders out there who are cheering me on. Therefore, I say to you all, let us focus on the positive. Let us change our thinking. We change our lives. Research is beginning to reveal that positive thinking is much more than being happy or displaying an upbeat attitude. Positive thoughts can actually create a real value in your life and help you build skills that last longer than a smile. What psychology says about positive thinking. Positive thinking does not necessarily mean avoiding or ignoring the bad things. Instead, it involves making the most of the potentially bad situations, trying to see the best in other people, and viewing yourself and your abilities in a positive light. I constantly tell myself, if you want to be in the light, help those around you shine. No matter where I go, I carry my sunshine. If you want to be in the light, then stand where the light is shining. There is a light that shines bright. Some may try to discourage you, trying to take your shine away, but that shine is too bright. Because the greater one lives within me and you. And he can conquer any adversaries. What is a positive attitude? A positive attitude are those that pay attention to the good rather than bad in people, situations, or events. A simple example of a positive attitude is when you're having a bad day, but you still say, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today? God bless you. Rather than saying, what is so good about the morning? We must show gratification and thank God for our very existing. In the words of Denzel Washington, he says that when you become successful, pull somebody else up. Let one teach one, rather than aspiring to make a living, aspire to make a difference in this world. Be thankful and show those around you that you are thankful and grateful for them and their assistance. And why is it important to be self-motivated? Self-motivation is important because it does not let you depend on others. It helps you to bring yourself into that great woman or man that you would like to become. It helps you to tap into your strength, to meet your goals, and also help you to work on your weaknesses. And do not let others hinder you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I say to you, change your thinking, you change your life. Open your heart and mind and be all that you can be.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for TM Jalita Lewis. Our next prepared speaker is speaking from Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 1. He's also speaking for 5 to 7 minutes. Let's welcome to the virtual lectern, TM Rodney Hutto.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone see my screen just fine?
Yes.
Fantastic. So today, this fine evening, we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. Which one would you rather, Samsung or Apple? So let's do something very interesting. So in the chat, I want you to put whether you have a Samsung or an Apple phone. Just as we just go on this wonderful debate. But Samsung and Apple have the most share in the cell phone market today. They are very popular, they have their own characteristics, but they achieve this by different means. But first, let me make this clear. This is going to be an unbiased comparison of both. So as the saying goes, whenever we want to combat our enemies, first and foremost, we must start by understanding them rather than exaggerating their motives. So don't bash Apple and do not underhand Samsung. So continuing on. Right now, over the past couple of years, just in case you can't see, the blue is Apple, the line, the blue is Apple, and the red is Samsung. And over the past couple of years, they've been going up and down this trend. But if you've noticed that Apple market share isn't really that high above Samsung in certain situations. At the start of the year and at the end of the year, they will be at the same, let's say, want from the marketplace. So more persons have Apples or more persons have Samsungs? Right now, it's about even, in all honesty. Apple hasn't had that same market share for a long time, even though they're a very popular company through different means. If you look just at their smartphones, Apple and Samsung are very close competitors. So, what will happen in today's society? Do we still stick with the stigma that Apple is superior, or will we pick Samsung, which is a claim the underdog? The designs of both phones. So right now I went back 3 years so we can fully understand, so we fully grasp, because most persons wouldn't really know the most up-to-date phones. So I made sure that everyone can get a general comparison. Apple normally goes for the compact type of phones compared to Samsung. Samsung's high-end models normally are bigger. They have a little bit more features, but Samsung basically have this big wieldly phone in your hand, while Apple have something a little bit more manageable. And this carries on to today's smartphones in their current iteration. The battery life of both phones going up to this day and age as well are about the same. Just in case someone does not know what is on the screen, MAH means and stands for milliamp hours. So the more or the higher the number, the more battery you get on the phone. So that's how long the phone will last. And right now, Samsung will last more than an Apple phone. So if you're looking for an all-day phone, I would recommend Samsung. If you're looking for a phone that will last most of the day, I would recommend Apple. The camera quality, because most persons have this idea that Samsung and Apple phones, Apple has a superior camera. But if you look at the numbers for the persons that are looking on the screen, MP stands for megapixels, and the B means back, F means front. Apple has a 12 megapixel camera on the back of their phones. But let's look at Samsung for a minute. Samsung also have a 12 megapixel camera on the back of their phone. They seem to have the same amount of capturing and quality of both competitors. So how is it possible Apple is better in that regard? In all honesty, if we look at the next image that we have right now, if you look on the screen, one was taken with a Samsung phone and one was took with a iPhone X, both of the same year. If anyone, in all honesty, can give me an accurate difference between both pictures, please do so in the chat. But right now, what I'm looking at is very negligible in the grand scheme of pictures. Both phones are performing adequately and in the same margins with quality. I have a next picture. If you look between both phones, they both capture the same raw quality image. Give you a second to look. And lastly, so this is a landscape shot. Even in this wide, broad spectrum, they are still able to provide both phones in this regard proper details that you can make out and have a beautiful picture to last a lifetime. So now, if you're looking at this, both phones and the prices are equivalent to the prices of today. Apple is currently, for the base model phone, $1,150. For Samsung, it is around $560, rounded up to $900 for a Samsung phone. I would say looking prior at the knowledge given to us, that if you remember the picture quality, if you remember the storage capacity, and if you remember the amount of space and requires that each phone gives off, do you want an iPhone or do you want a Samsung at your current price range? So in conclusion, this is an unbiased comparison. I am not rooting for Samsung. I am not rooting for Apple, but I am here to educate that both phones are a great option to get. This was also meant for non-savvy individual, non-tech savvy individual to make sure that you grasp the concept. If you are a person that loves to look and to take pictures, then this presentation was for you. And lastly, technology has come a long way to reach the point where we are today. So any choice in smartphone you pick is negligible, Samsung or Apple. Either choice, I am guaranteeing you that you have made the right choice. Thank you so much. I yield to our wonderful president and chairman, Toastmaster Genevieve Buller.
Well, thank you, TM Rodney Buto. Samsung versus Apple. Moving right along to our third speaker for this evening. He is speaking from Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 3, the objectives, increasing knowledge, connect with your audience. Connect with your audience. His speech title tonight, Embracing Your Evaluation Skills. Embracing your evaluation skills for 8 to 10 minutes. Let's welcome DTM Andrew Albury.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. And certainly tonight, I would like to really focus more on the humor part of this, and I'll come back another time with more of the vibe. So tonight's presentation focus more on humor. And certainly with any speech, it's certainly my pleasure to welcome again once again. With any speech, preparation is the major part of an effective speech. So the first thing we want to do whenever we're speaking, and particularly when we're getting ready for contests, and as I talk more about humor, is you want to find out your audience. Who will be your audience? What's the demographic of the audience? And certainly we as Toastmasters, we know that when we go into a speech competition, we're going to an audience where everybody has either a personal experience or has some kind of knowledge of what to expect. So the expectation level will be a certain level. So you want to know what the audience is, why are they here, how can you help them, where are they from, and what would be the level of their education. The second thing in having an effective speech, particularly in humor, would be your theme, your topic theme. We always want to give a theme that kind of gives a sense of, wow, I'm really looking forward to this. You know, the joke's on you. So the minute you hear that topic, you're thinking humor, you're thinking fun, token jokes. You want to make sure pick a topic that relates with what you're presenting. Really get your topic. And the key thing is you want to speak about something that you yourself are very passionate about. Because when you're passionate, when you have a why in you, you speak with a different level of sincerity and emotion. And then the other thing we want to do is research. You don't just want to go in off the top of our heads, but you want to have your facts. You want to either go to a library, school, you want to go in your phone and your Samsung, and or come to your audience with pool vous. You don't want to come to your audience with a pool vous. You want to come to your audience with brilliance, you know, and so saying you will do that. A lot of family members can give encyclopedias are very good. Using the internet, Department of Archives. I always say, if you're into humor, ride a jitney bus. If you go on a jitney and just listen to what people talk about a jitney ride, you can be laughing all day. And all things like child give the facts of what you're talking about, and you want to limit your facts to threes. You want to have your point, and then you're supporting facts to that point. And I always say, do things in threes, do things in threes. And then in your conclusion, you want to summarize what you already told them. We don't suggestive gestures and prompting gestures. Then you also have variety in your voice. You don't want to have the same tone. Sometimes you up, sometimes you down. And so even though you saw my mouth was saying one thing, I was going the opposite. So sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. So in humor, sometimes you up and you go down. Sometimes you're down. It's just, you just go the opposite direction. So you want to have good variety, good variety. Your voice must be audible. Your speaking rate, and I know I'm going fast right now. So saying you want to slow down so that people can digest your word. I know I'm looking at the clock too. And so you want to have that high pitch and that low pitch. I should always use the voice that gives public presentation. So as if you're speaking to your friends, because it shows sincerity. Eye contact. Eye contact assures people that you have credibility. It says, I'm interested in you. And it shows the audience that you're an expert of whatever it is that you're talking about. So you want to balance it by making an imaginary M or W across the audience with your eye contact. And I always say, look at their forehead, because if you look at the forehead, it appears to the audience as if you're looking them in the eye. Then movement, particularly like right now with this online, if we're in a club setting, I'll be moving all over the place. But we have to learn how to move even on this Zoom, because movement shows that you're involved, that you're connected to your audience, and you go, you know, and so it supports what you're saying with your mouth by what you're showing with your body. So moving, and don't just move just to move, but move with purpose. When you go to the right, you're saying a positive. Go to the left, you're saying some negative. And so use your movement so that people know whenever you're here, it's one thing, and when you're over here, it's another. And then, of course, the power of the pause. Sometimes you have to pause to allow people what it is that we heard. And finally, on one thing, you want to rehearse, practice. There are 4 areas you have to know when you want to win a speech contest. Know the criteria, select the right topic, create the best speech structure, and follow the laugh process. And certainly that's the key. So when we're talking, you can download information on evaluations or humor or internet or table topics. Toastmasters has a lot of this stuff readily available. You can go on YouTube and find all the winners of previous contests from years back and just use them example. But you always want to get resources that can help build you. Ensure that your speech has a clear purpose, that you're justified to be speaking, provide something that's meaningful and original, include important ideas that contribute to the audience thinking, and immediately engage your audience and let your flow smooth and constant. In addition, you want to ensure that your delivery supports your points through your gestures, expressions, and your body positioning. Always study before you go in any contest. Again, select the right topic and create the best speech structure. And certainly with that, you want to make sure that the structure is in the form of a story. People buy stories. We don't want to have a lot of one-liners, but you want to have a smooth flow that transitions from opening to conclusion. One story, just building up, and finally with a bang, curl, and then follow the laugh. So on a day, when you getting ready before you present this exam in school. If you arrive at the examination right before the exam starts, you can be real nervous. But if you arrive to the examination like half an hour, 15 minutes early, you have a chance to sit, relax, review, prepare. Same thing it is for the contest. Same it is just speech. Arrive early so you can get comfortable. You can see people who are in the room, who are on the call, and you can say, sure, and you're going to listen, and you're going to find out what people's expectations are. Always make sure, check your room, check your mic, check your notes, check everything's in place, and then ensure, take some deep, controlled breaths before you start. Breathe in and breathe out. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are things that will definitely highlight and take your next speech performance to the next level. And I'll be back at another time with your evaluation tips. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give it up for our third speaker. We have 3 prepared speakers for tonight, and they were really fired up and ready to go. And so I would like, before we call our general evaluator, we are going to vote for who you think or thought was the best speaker for tonight. And so do the same. You can put it in the chat very quickly. And with that question that was posed before I introduced the speaker reminded me of that was posed to T.M. Bain about fiery moments and things that made her excited. So I have a little question for you. What do you call a woman who puts her credit card statements straight in the fire? What do you call a woman who puts a credit card statement straight in?
Angry woman.
An angry woman?
Angry woman.
All right, I have 2 other persons before. Sophie, you have to answer. Let me ask you quickly so you don't go looking on Google.
She hasn't Googled that one yet.
Anyone else want to try?
Firewoman.
A firewoman? She has a name. This is the actual name of a woman.
Bernadette.
Oh.
Bernadette.
Bernadette?
Did you get that on Google?
Yeah, that's Sophie. That's Sophie.
Wow.
TM Saunders. Did you Google that? Bernadette.
You know she did.
Yes, the woman who put all her credit card statements straight in the fire is Bernadette.
That's a good one.
Our general evaluator for this evening is a businesswoman. She's the daughter of James, and I was surprised to know that we share, both our mothers share the same name. My mother's name was Daisy, and so was hers. So she's the daughter of James and Daisy Bain. One of her greatest strengths are organizational and leadership skills. One of her passions is to bring order where there is disorder. And so she's the perfect person for the job tonight. And in her free time, this well-balanced lady likes to travel the world, collect ceramic plates, and enjoy music. DTM DTM Albert Thompson, you have to tell me if she made any trips with you recently. You can private message me. But let's welcome our general evaluator. Pardon me?
Watch it, Madam President. Watch it, Madam President. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
She is fired up and she is ready to go. So let's welcome our general evaluator for tonight, TM Donnell Bain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No travels of late. This COVID-19 keeping me close to home as far as I'm not venturing, at least not even far from my neighborhood until this pandemic dies down. But thank you for the introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's my pleasure to serve this evening as your general evaluator. And as your general evaluator, at the portion of this meeting, I will be calling on a team to assist me in giving feedback to our speakers, and I will evaluate the entire meeting as well as at the end. And coming to help me with evaluating our first speaker is Toastmaster Sophie Saunders, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Jalita Lewis. Help us to welcome Toastmaster Sophie Saunders.
A pleasant good evening, Toastmasters and our distinguished guests in our midst. It is indeed a pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Lewis. Toastmaster Lewis, let me first say that every time you approach the lectern, I sit anticipating eagerly to hear what you have to bring to us. This evening, my evaluation is as follows. Toastmaster Lewis, I'm going to give you the positive and then I'm going to give you the negative. Your speech had me to it. It was motivating. It made you think and kept you alert of what you were saying. On the other hand, you were a little bit distracted because you were looking in two different directions. So it seems like you were looking at your camera in the front of you and you're looking at something else to the side. So your eye was not really captivating your audience. So when you're speaking or you're using some prop, you have to be very careful how you set it or how you position it so that you wouldn't notice that you're looking in two different directions. So I was following you. Every time you turn your head or your eyes, I was following your eyes, and then you would try to look back in front of you. Also bear in mind that your lighting in the back of you, it had a shadow. So the light was a little bit too much on your forehead, so it was giving back a reflection on your forehead. Last but not least, remember that timing is very important, especially if you're going to go into a speech competition. So practice your speech before you begin so that you would not go over time. And tonight you did go over a minute and a couple of seconds into your speech, and your speech was 5 minutes and 7 minutes, and you get 30 seconds to go over the time that you would have had. So overall, excellent. Just the pointers that I would have given to you, you would have had deliver and great speech overall. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saunders. And I will evaluate our second speaker, Toastmaster Boodle. Toastmaster Boodle was giving us a speech from Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 1, Project 2, and it was supposed to have been 5 to 7 minutes. And his topic was Samsung versus Apple. And in his evaluation form, I was to evaluate areas of clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, and interest. And my evaluation, my comments, I would say that Toastmaster Boodle excelled in the content and interest. The topic selected, Samsung versus Apple. I learned, and I'm sure others learned too, some new things. MAH and MPB, megapixel, the features of phones. And then at the end of the day, we could decide whether we want to choose Apple or Samsung. And based on his presentation, really, the features are pretty much the same when you look at the photos and the comparison. So at the end of the day, really, it depends on your budget. I'm not a person that knows much about cell phones, but I guess within your budget, seems like Apple is more expensive than Samsung. So if you got the budget in your budget to buy a more expensive phone to get the same results, or maybe it's the saddest thing, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you can make your selection. And he was smart. He said that he wasn't there to give an opinion on what was best. So at the end of the day, hopefully we could make a decision on what we would choose, Apple versus Samsung. So an interesting topic. And one of my comments, what I said that he can work on, and that would have been to, and it was difficult, it's always difficult to make to give a suggestion to Toastmaster Boodle because he excels so much in so many areas as when he speaks. But one I said that he can work more on would be in the speaking area, using the speaking area, because most of the time, Toastmaster Boodle was positioned at the center of the screen. So perhaps moving a little bit more to the left, to the right would be helpful rather than being positioned in that same spot. And I think DTM Aubrey had mentioned it a few minutes ago about movement. So that would be something that I would say that Toastmaster Doodle, you can work a little bit more on movement, using that speaking area a little bit more. And finally, to challenge yourself, I would say it's very, as I said earlier, difficult to give a critique when Toastmaster Doodle presents. And I would say to challenge yourself, maybe just to memorize your speech a little bit more. And when you do that, you're able to move a little bit around a little bit more. I know it's difficult with this virtual environment when we have to be positioned in a small area so that we remain on the camera. But once again, using that speaking area a little bit more would help you too with the memorize. As you memorize that speech, you're not in that fixed position or that area for such a long time. You're able to move around a little bit more. So that would be what I would say to challenge yourself. But overall, as usual, as I said, excellent speech, content. You kept your audience attention. It was something that we were interested in. And if tomorrow we would have to change phones or buy a new phone, we have some information to help us to make a decision. So thank you for an excellent presentation. Let's give Toastmaster Boodle a hand again. And for our third evaluation, I will be assisted by Distinguished Toastmaster Albert Thompson, and he will be evaluating Toastmaster Andrew Aubrey. Sorry, Distinguished Toastmaster Andrew Aubrey.
Thank you so much, DTMs and Toastmaster Daniel Bain, for that introduction. It gives me great pleasure to evaluate DTM Aubrey, and he was speaking on the presentation mastery level 3 in a time of 8 to 10 minutes, where he is supposed to increase our knowledge and connect with the audience. And I just wanted to confirm your speech title, DTM Aubrey. If you have that readily available, your speech title.
Sorry.
DTM Aubrey, are you there?
It was actually embracing your embracing your humor. I know, Madam President, you mentioned embracing evaluations, but it's embracing the humor, embracing your humor delivery.
Okay,
Humor
good.
speech delivery.
Thank you. Great, because that had me thrown for a minute when you said embracing your evaluation skills, because I was thinking this speech title should have been more along the lines of speech writing and presentation mastery. So that definitely helps out there. So my evaluation is as follows. I would say that you presented lots of information. And this was very valuable information for all of the persons in the chat tonight, because we, of course, can all learn from this, especially the new Toastmasters. You talked about what to put inside a speech and how to prepare for a speech contest. All very good information, very vital information that we all can learn from, as well as the timing of that presentation and practice. Things that I said that you could learn from or improve on for next time is set the stage for your presentation. No matter what it is, in this particular case, you were talking about embracing your humor. If you could have set the stage at the beginning for this, that would have been good. It seems as though you went straight into it without a defined introduction. I was missing that setting of the stage presence in your actual content. Again, I said there was lots of information. So for me, I think, and especially probably for some of the newer Toastmasters as well, maybe it may have been too much information. So if you could have maybe put that information into manageable bits so that we could digest it a little bit easier, and put a category for content, a category for what you should have in your content in terms of facts, figures, and antidotes. You talked about stories, your storytelling, which is very good. You want to have a personal story, and then also have a point on delivery. That would have been great. So you want to give enough information, but not too much information. I liked in terms of your delivery, how you're always very enthusiastic. We can never come to a meeting and hear DTM Albury and not have enough enthusiasm. He gives us enough. And I usually say I'm enthusiastically yours on a Tuesday night, but he definitely sets the fire for enthusiasm. So we tend to draw off that, and we thank you for that. In terms of improvement on delivery, I would say that if you could stand up and we can get more of saying DTM Albury, that would be great, because it would be great if you could use more of your speaking area and show the gestures with your hands as you speak. That also would keep you less reliant on looking at the monitor and any notes. I also would love to see visual aids, and I think you had a hard task tonight because you followed someone that had lots of visual aids. So something like that, you want to also incorporate visual aids in your presentation as much as you can. And for this particular presentation, because you were talking about embracing your humor, I definitely would have wanted to see and hear more humor. I didn't hear that as much. So that would have definitely helped in your delivery. I would challenge you in the future with your vocal variety to, as you know, slow down and be deliberate on how you pronounce and enunciate your words so that they are very clear to everyone. Use visual aids in your presentations going forward, especially now that we're in this Zoom environment, and try to use more of the speaking area. That is my evaluation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Thompson, for comprehensive evaluation. Thank you very much. And so next we'll hear from our grammarian, who we have double task for grammarian and psychologist, Toastmaster Davis. Toastmaster Davis, who would have been listening for good uses of the language as well as points for improvement. Also tracking the use of the word of the day. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, help me welcome Toastmaster Davis, Damita Davis.
Evaluator. Good evening again, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the grammarian is to listen and monitor the use of the English language.
That's your second. That's your second.
So do you have, Toastmaster Davis, do you have two device?
Two device, yeah. For the songs. You're muted.
Shanique Taylor's device is in the same room with me. So I think that's where the clash is coming.
Just turn on the volume on one device. Just turn on the volume.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you.
Yeah,
Yes.
can hear.
That's better.
Madam General Evaluator. Good evening again, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the grammarian is to listen and to monitor the use of the English language during the course of the meeting. I listened for the use of colorful language, ambiguous phrase today. I can say that I didn't hear the word of the day used by anyone. So I encourage you in going forward to, try to incorporate the word of the day within your speech. Also, I would like to commend DTM Albury and DTM Thompson on their colorful use of words and their ability to capture the attention of the audience. One correction for Madam President. In the beginning, in your introduction to the table topics, master, you said the table topic master, and it should be table topics master. DTM Stewart, in your pronunciation of adrenal, you mentioned adrenal. Should be you too mentioned table topic master, and it should be table topics masters. DTM Sophie Saunders. Mention the word motivated, which should be motivated. It was a pleasure serving as your grammarian for this evening. Remember, sentence structure and grammar is very important. It's a very important tool in speaking, and I encourage you all to master this area of communication. Here ends my report.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Davis. Excellent job there in your evaluation. And now I would turn to an evaluation of our lexicologist. And for that, I would like to ask Toastmaster Udo, can you give one suggestion for our lexicologist?
For the suggestion, I would just recommend that you try to use, instead of the Word document, try to use a PowerPoint document instead, which have clips and slides. And the other one, I would say to make sure to state the objective of your role. I didn't quite sure if I heard that or not, but just to make sure state your objective, as well give sentences and allow your audience to really grasp the concept before you go ahead and give the definition of the word. But besides that, I think there's also, because of technical difficulties, but you did a fantastic job. So just take those suggestions, and your next time as lexicologist will be a great job.
All right, thank you very much, Toastmaster Boodle. And for our table topics, Toastmaster Dr. Annette Stewart, thank you for your contribution in the area of the table topics for this evening's meeting. If I was, there would be there are a couple suggestions that I would have. But this evening we have had a number of us challenges with technology, and that happens from time to time. But at some points, it was difficult hearing your question. There was a break in hearing your questions. In addition, the other suggestion I had would have been related to timing, and we will hear our timers report in a few minutes. But I think there were at least 4 individuals who would have participated in the table topics section of our program. And in future, and that's for all of us, we can watch the time of the meeting as we want it to be tight but right and flowing well and all of that. But by 7:30, I think we had our first speaker coming on. And so that means that the meeting has been going on for almost an hour before we get to really the meat of the meeting. And with 3 prepared speakers, we want people to have their full attention, give the speakers, their full attention, and not so much of all the between the business part of the meeting and the table topics and all of that comes before the speakers. We want to make sure that everybody's alert and fresh and give the speakers our full attention. So one suggestion I would give would be to monitor the time during the meeting, that we're not running on a bit too long before we get to our prepared speakers. And I would say that I enjoyed the topic. It got us engaged and thinking. We didn't know where the next question was going to go, but it had us thinking. And in addition, the questions had some humor in it. So it lightened up the evening very well, I should say. So thank you for your questions and thank you for your contribution in the area of table topics. And so for our chairman, evaluating our chairman, I would ask distinguished Toastmaster Thompson to give our chairman a suggestion for her contribution this evening.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. A suggestion for our chairman, Toastmaster Genevieve Bullard. Toastmaster Bullard did an excellent job this evening, as usual. I loved her background. I loved her presentation and how she introduced the speakers. The only suggestion I would have for Toastmaster Bullard from this evening is to be on time. So that she was there at the beginning of the meeting. That is the only suggestion, Madam General Evaluator.
Okay, thank you, DTM Thompson. Toastmaster Davis, what did you enjoy most about the chairman's contribution this evening?
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. I enjoyed the president's. I just love a play on words. I love how she speaks. I love how she presents herself. I love how she has it under control. She was late, but yes, when she came to the stage, she took control.
Toastmaster, thank you, Toastmaster Davis. Toastmaster Walker, comments for our chairman? Suggestion for improvement, or what did you like about her contributions?
Good night, fellow Toastmasters. I would concur with Davis when she says that when Madam President comes to the stage, she really took control of the situation. It was as if she was not missing. Okay. I also agree with Thompson when he said that she needs to be on time. Okay. I know there are unforeseen situations, but as a president, you need to set the stage for others to follow and try to, be on time. So that's my contribution to Madam President.
Thank you very much. And we need to add to thank Toastmaster Boodle for stepping to the plate and holding the fort until Madam President arrived. And just a comment to both of them, actually, they commented on, I think it was Toastmaster Boodle, who commented on the lexicologist's work, and also the Madam Chair commenting on the speakers. Now that's the job of the evaluators, to give comments on the speakers or the participants. So just a little caution for you both that you did comment on the presentation or the comments by the speakers tonight. Now on to, thank you all for your participation. And now for our timers report, and that is going to be done by Toastmaster Kshatriya Hyla, if I'm
Don't
pronouncing
forget the
that.
hour counter report. The hour
Toastmaster
counter too.
and the, sorry?
The
The hour counter.
Counter, okay, I'm sorry. Nets. You can help me with
Net.
the first.
Net.
Toastmaster Net Ware Hicks for the sisters with the RM report. My apologies, I'll get it.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Purpose of the counter is to raise awareness to the use of pause fillers, sounds, crutches, long pause, and repetition of words or phrases in sentence structure or any other interjections that distract from a speaker's message. My report helps members to see how they are progressing from week to week. My report is as follows. Please correct me if I pronounce these names wrong. Genevieve.
Genevieve.
We got one Tamika Davis, 2 2, and long pause. Mr. or Mrs. Dr. Arnett. Good. We good. There's no nothing going on there. Sophie Sanders. We got 1 Albert Thompson. We got 2 double clutches. Darnell Bain is good. Sir, God help me. How Heller? Mistress Heller?
Hyla.
Hyler? Yeah,
Kshatriya.
Rodney is 1 and 1 double clutch. Andrew Adderley, we got 3 3 1 GL, what is a double clutch, 1 double clutch, and for myself,
Very good.
We good? Oh.
Very good. You were listening. You're good.
Oh, thank you. And it's for myself, it's 3 R's, well, right now, and 1
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Good
We
report.
need to call on you much more, so Madam Treasurer would be very happy to collect some fines. Thank you for your comprehensive report.
No problem.
And now for our timers report. And we will be assisted by Kshatriya Hyla, Toastmaster Kshatriya Hyla, who will give a report on how we've done with time. Please welcome Toastmaster Hyla.
A very pleasant good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. I will be conducting the timers report. The purpose of the timer is to make sure the meeting runs on time and on schedule. My report as follows. called to order at 6:30 p.m. The education program started at 6:51 p.m. and ended at 6:54 p.m. Duration of the time was 3 minutes. Lexicologists started at 6:54 p.m. and ended at 7:03 p.m. A total duration of 9 minutes. Table topics started at 7:04 p.m. and ended at 7:28 p.m. Duration time 24 minutes. Our first speaker for the night is TM Jalita Lewis. The time frame was 5 to 7 minutes. She spoke for a total of 9 minutes. The begin time was 7:29 p.m. and ended 7:38 p.m. The second speaker is TM Boodle Root. It started at 7:39 p.m. ended 7:48 p.m. a total of 9 minutes. Third speaker is TM Aubrey. Started at 7:49 p.m. ended 8:04 p.m. Duration 15 minutes. General evaluator. Pardon me, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, general evaluator, TM Darnell Bean, started at 8:08 p.m. The first evaluator, is TM Sophie Saunders. She evaluated TM Jalita Lewis. Sophie Saunders spoke began at 9:08 p.m. and ended 8:12 p.m. a total of 3 minutes. TM Donald Bain evaluated Boodle. It began at 8:12 p.m. ended 8:16 p.m. Duration 4 minutes. TM Elwood Bean Thompson evaluator evaluated TM Albury. It began at 8:17 p.m. ended 8:21 p.m. Duration 4 minutes. Gramanian Donika Davis. It began at 8:22 p.m. ended at 8:26 p.m. Duration is 4 minutes. I wasn't clear after Davis spoke, but I know Darnell spoke next. I wasn't clear what the subject was, but I know it started at 8:27 p.m. and ended at 8:34 p.m. A duration 7 minutes. The Aham from Ware Higgs, sorry, can't pronounce your first name as yet. Started at 8:35 p.m. ended at 8:37 p.m. Duration 2 minutes. The time now is 8:41. Here ends my report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hyla. Everyone doing an excellent job for the first time with these responsibilities tonight. And for general evaluation of tonight's meeting, the meeting started promptly on time at 6:30, call to order, and opening was handled smoothly. The business section of our meeting ran smoothly. Could have been well tonight. Generally speaking, all of us were a bit long-winded. I think the target should be for us in our comments and evaluation running between 2 and 3 minutes. And then for each speaker, there is the time limit. So in terms of our overall meeting and time management, we need to work on that. It's almost 9 o'clock, and so we can aim for an hour and a half meeting with, holding everybody's attention and having a tight and interesting meeting. That would be something for all of us to work on for our next meeting. Our guests were introduced, and introductions were made of our speakers and participants. Our speakers were evaluated already. Table topics, an evaluation was done on that. And so I think overall we had a good meeting, other than my suggestions that that I mentioned. We had a good meeting, informative meeting, and I think that we all grew the better for it, for a time well spent. So that concludes my general evaluation. That concludes my general evaluation for this evening's meeting. Feel free to call on me anytime. Madam Chair.
All right, let's give it up for our general evaluator. Thank you so very much. Very concise, and we do take your words of wisdom very seriously. And so we will compare our timing for the next meeting in comparison and look forward to the approval. Thank all of you tonight. Listen, I just want to say that in the speaking of fired up and ready to go, all of you, you have answered all of my burning questions. I am stoked. You set my heart on fire. Your love gives me heartburn. You're my perfect match. I love you. Nothing can extinguish my love for you. It will always be lit. It has certainly been my pleasure serving as your madam, for this evening. Please feel free to call on me at any time. I now yield the lectern to our VPE.
Thank you so much. So, right now, it was a great educational session indeed. There was excitement, there was fire. I definitely say I was fired up and ready to go. And looking at the time, it's almost time to go. So I will yield to our wonderful president, Toastmaster Genevieve Bullard.
Thank you so much, Mr. VPE. And so tonight, just quickly, I know the time is of the essence, but I just want to announce our vote for best table topic presenter tonight was, can I get some drum rolls? None other than DTM Andrew Albury. Our prepared speaker vote for best speaker of the night was none other than TM Rodney Buto. We say congratulations to both of you tonight, and so now you're in the runnings for the quarter winners, and so we will look forward to that. Thank you so much again for a wonderful meeting. I agreed with the timing, and so we want to be able to ensure that we are moving with time. And but before we go, we have some guest speakers, our guests in the house tonight. I noticed there were two guests. Are they still with us? Wenzel Kulmer, can you unmute and just give us some brief remarks? How did you enjoy the meeting? And will you be coming back?
3 dots. Hello.
Hello.
Good night.
Welcome. Yes.
I enjoyed the meeting very well. It sort of inspired me, inspired me to really join in and be want to participate in it. I really enjoyed all of the speaker. Everything was on time. One of the things I really like, because being a manager too, is on time. I love that. That's one of the things that I was watching. I said, okay, they're going to be on time, and exactly 6:30 it started, and it was really nice. I must say I did enjoy myself. I did enjoy listening to everything.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure we will be seeing you again. I didn't get, I'm sorry, because of my tardiness. Who invited you to the meeting?
That's Dorica Walker.
Okay, Dorica Walker. Okay, one notch under your belt, Dorica. Thank you. And I have a special guest in the house tonight, and you can unmute. It's my beautiful niece, Romika Sargent. So she's on the call. Romika, you can mute and tell us how you enjoyed yourself tonight and let us know if you will be back.
Thank you, my Auntie Jen. I totally enjoyed the meeting. I do apologize. I ran a bit late from work and I remembered I had the meeting and I joined. I'm so glad that I did it rather late than never. I truly enjoyed it and I will be back. Next week, I'll make sure I'm here at 6:30. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. And I just want to encourage everyone, if there be no other announcement, I just want to say that
I have a guest on the.
We have
you do
we have
have a
two other
guest. Okay.
guests.
Oh, there's another guest. My apologies. Oh, Nadia Wilson, is that her?
Two other guests.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, we on a roll. All right. Who's the
You have
first one, Nadia?
Shanika Taylor and Nadia Wilson.
Okay. So, Miss Taylor, Shanique Taylor, good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Good night. Thank you, Madam Chair. So it's a pleasure for me to attend this meeting tonight. You guys were truly, I see why you came up with the theme Fired Up, because you probably knew that that was the attitude that you all were going to bring to this meeting tonight. You were definitely fired up and ready to go. And so I want to thank Damika Davis for inviting me. I completely enjoyed myself. It was so exciting to observe everyone. And so I must say, listen to me right with my arms. I must say that I will certainly be back.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
More
you.
than happy to have you.
Heard that. All right.
All right.
Nadia
And
Wilson.
Miss Nadia Wilson, take it away.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I came in rather late as well because I had another emergency business meeting I had to attend, but it made me feel like I was back in Toastmasters again. I'm a former Toastmaster, Madam President, for First Caribbeans. I was a part of First Caribbeans Club when I was in the bank. So
Nice.
I have I've known about 1095 for a very long time. I've attended a few of your meetings over the years, and knowing Toastmaster Albert Thompson, I would know, but I was invited by Toastmaster Annette Stewart, and I have to mention Toastmaster Lewis, because she has really, from I came to your installation, she has really been behind me to visit and to try to become a part of the Toastmasters program again. So that was well and fitting, and I will also be back as well, as just like the other guest said. You know, it was a good meeting, and I would be back as well. Thanks for having me.
Very good. I wanted you to put on your video so we could. I know the voice and the name sounds familiar. And I'm like, who is this person? I think I know her.
I undressed after my meeting, so I don't want to put on the camera.
All right.
I guess I can show you my face. I can do that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Let's hope the camera don't drop. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much to all of
sorry. Madam President, can I say one more thing too? I've
Sure.
also been I have to also include as an honorary person inviting me, DTM Albury as well, because I had a conversation with him this week.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So glad to have all of you. Thank you so much for sharing and sitting with us tonight. We really appreciate your presence. We appreciate all of you. And in my closing remarks, each for each, or each for all. That is the challenge, the clarion call. Choosing the person you want to be and being the change you want to see. Action for Happiness asks of you to be loving, compassionate, and true, a giver of joy and a healer of sorrow, creator of a new tomorrow, making the happiness of all your wish, your compass, and your goal. That's my message for you tonight by way of Richard Laherd. And if there be no further business, I move that this meeting for Toastmaster Action for Achievement Club 1095 be adjourned. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good
Thank
night.
Good
you.
evening.
Great
Bye.
meeting.
Good,
Great
good
Thank
meeting.
you
night.
guys.
Great
Have a
meeting.
wonderful
Thank you,
evening.
Good
everyone. Really appreciate you.
night.
Awesome evening. Great
See you
job,
in
guys.
another 2 weeks.
Davis and